Good evening, everybody. This is Victor Kilo 4, Golf Romeo Bravo, Gary in Ferryland. This is just it's just took on 7:30 p.m., 1930 hours, 0930 UTC. It's another Wednesday night, so this is VK4 Bravo Alpha. This is VK4BAD BADnet for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. I'll now change my call sign from my home call of VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo to the club call of VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. Current WX is 23.6 degrees Celsius. 60% humidity, 0 wind speed. I hope everybody's had a good week. Mine's been a bit of a hectic one, but I'll glad to invite everyone who's on my Facebook channel and my YouTube channel, my Facebook page, I should say. I have started a new one there today, and hoping that everybody. I've been sending out requests on it with a bit of a letter, with a bit of a message saying that yes, I am back, and this is my new page. Okay, this is Victor Kilo 4, Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. Now listening for any call-ins, VK4BAD.
VK4IJP.
Okay, we've got VK4IJP at the present time. Anyone else? Looks like it's going to be another quiet night. VK4BAD listening? Okay, they must be all still having tea or something. There's nothing on the idiot box as far as I'm aware of. Okay, this is Victor Kilo 4, Bravo Alpha Delta, listening for any other call-ins. So far I've got VK4BAD, yours truly, and VK4IJP, Ian in Croston. Anyone else want to call in? VK4BAD listening?
K4FAX, running late again.
Okay, well that's 100% on the last time I put a call out. Good evening there, Don in Drayton. VK4BAD, listening for any other call-ins. Go ahead now. VK4BAD listening. Oh, well, you never know. We might get some extra ones call in on the, but we're 100% more than what we had last week. Okay, final call before we start the first round. VK4BAD, listening for anyone else for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net. VK4BAD. Okay, nothing at the moment. That doesn't worry me. Okay, we'll see if anyone else comes in afterwards. As I said, I've been pretty busy. For the ones who ain't aware, but two of yous are now aware. Don, I sent you a friend's request on my new Facebook page. So it is from me, and it will come up a different photo and a different different pose on Cyrus. So it is a completely different page compared to the first one, to the last one. Okay, and I expect a few more ding dings on my phone as the night goes through. At the moment, I've got Do Not Disturb put on my phone at the moment because we're holding the net. Okay, VK4IJP. Good evening there, Ian. And over to you, VK4BAD.
That guy that goes beep, he just had to nudge his way in there first, didn't he? Yeah, good evening, Gary. And Don. And Gary, yep, thanks a lot for running the net. That should be another good night. What have I done since I spoke to you last? Weeded the garden. Harvested some potatoes, some little baby potatoes. So we're probably going to have them for dinner tomorrow night. Yes, we are running late for dinner. In fact, I'm sitting down with it before me at the moment. So, just been distracted by the idiot box. So, just one of those things. And that, other than that, bit of weed in the garden. Haven't done too much this afternoon. I played around the fridge in the caravan. Rang a couple of caravan fridge repair places. Basically, they've said to me everything I've done, that's what they would do, so they don't know what's wrong with it. So that I'm in a bit of a country then. So, with the fridge running on gas. Since we do a lot of free camping, we sort of really do need it operational. But anyway, I suppose we can't go anywhere at the moment because we haven't got a tow car. Both of my towing tugs are away. So anyway, I'm trying to get it fixed before I get one of them back. Then we're going to go somewhere for a week or two. But anyway, meanwhile, here we are in lovely Proston. Okay then, so that's about it. Oh, I've been working some DX. On the weekend was an extremely busy weekend with some competition, European competition or something on. I didn't know the quite rules. I don't know the rules. I just sort of listened to them, heard some getting the hiccups. So I might pass it over to Don and see what's happening way down south. What have you been up to, Don? VK4FAX, VK4IJP.
VK4IJP with the group VK4FAX. Good evening, Ian and Gary. Thanks for being there, Gary. And we got an extra one this Wednesday night on last week, haven't we? So all good. What have I been up to? Running around the countryside out to Cambodia this morning, sorting out a septic tank job. Luckily I did go out. The builder was going to put it in too high. meant we wouldn't have been able to get the drain into it, and came back to town and organised a few jobs, and when the game of bowls to Saab, had a pretty pleasant afternoon. The wind was creating a bit of havoc, and which it always does at Drayton, which makes it really narrow on one end and really wide draw on the other. Getting the pace right and the gusts of wind and all the rest of it, it's a real challenge, but it makes for interesting bowling. And I was just going to ask how big Proston is, the number of people there and how many houses, Ian, when you come back next time. I got an old golfing mate that he was a painter, and he's retired up there, and I just wondered how big the place was, whether he's well known around the ridges there. But yeah, I've not been through Proston. I think I've been to Kingaroy once and for a meeting one time, and that's that's back in 2012, I think that was, 13. So yeah, but I'm not familiar with that area. I'll just break for a tick. Linus is catching up with me. Yeah, I've been out through John Dowie, up through to that way, and up the Burnett Highway many a time, and but never through that sort of section of the country. Never had a job up in there. Simply go work in that area. Went to the Bunyas a couple of times, but so I just wondered how big Proston was. I suppose I could have looked it up on Google Maps, but anyway, I'll get it straight from somebody that lives there. Yeah, other than that, we're going to go back out and lay this drain tomorrow at Cambodia and get the septic tank hooked up and get an inspection from the council. And yeah, a few little jobs to be done. And yeah, we'll see what happens when the phone rings tomorrow. VK4BAD, VK4FAX with the group.
VK4 FAX, VK4BAD. Before we continue on, is there anyone else want to join the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net? VK4BAD? Nope, nothing else heard at the present time. Yeah, okay, on still doing your work there, Don. And no, I wouldn't. Well, Proston's only a small little settlement. It's much bigger than what Faryiryland is. But it's only a small little town, and of course it is off the main road, but I couldn't tell you how many. But Ian will definitely know. We're having a bit of a yatta there before. Oh yeah, talking about a bit of a yatta there. We watched the spaceship go up there, and yesterday I watched the docking of the ISS. So there's a new crew up there. They'll be spending this week doing a changeover, and then the activities start up there. Okay, other than that, does anyone else want to join the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net before we start the second round? VK4BAD. No, it looks like it's going to be another short net again tonight. Yeah, I wonder where Al and Jake is doing his TAFE stuff. So yeah, but I haven't heard Al for a couple of weeks now, and yeah, it's a couple of weeks back since Al was on. Haven't heard Merv tonight, and of course Russell and Eric haven't heard neither there, but they're mainly up on 70 centimetres nowadays. They don't come down onto 2 metres. Okay, before we start the second round, this is VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. Anyone else want to call in? VK4BAD? Bit of a word from our sponsor, which doesn't really count. But not a problem. Okay, VK4 IJP. Back up to you there, Ian. And we'll do the last round. VK4 IJP, VK4 BAD.
Yes, thanks, Gary. Yeah, I forgot to mention that earlier on the first round. Yeah, with some distance between us and some comments on this frequency. Yeah, we watched I missed a little bit of it, but I did watch the part of it taken off, and we missed a little bit of the docking, but we did see the compression, and the guys, well, the people, not all guys, or crew 8 go in and relieve or start the relieving of crew 7, which I was actually surprised. There was 7 of crew 7, and there's 4 in crew 8. So I was going to ask you earlier on, Gary, do all 7 of them return when they go back, or is there only a portion of them returning? Okay, Don Proston. Yeah, nice little spot. It's called the end of the line because it was the railway terminus. There's not much out there after us. Yes. I think, give and take a little bit, I think the village has about 300 in it, give and take a little bit. In terms of population, there's a little bit more around outside of the village. In the school, for instance, there's about 100 kids. I think last time I was told there was 98 kids in the school. So there must be a bit of population in the wider district then that bring all the kids in on the buses. Considering that the bus company here's got, I think, 5 buses, 5 buses, yeah. So, yeah, they must get out and cover a fairly broad area. Within the village, we just about have everything what we want, actually. We have a spa supermarket, a hairdresser, a chemist, a little department store that sells a small range of electrical goods and a fairly broad range of fashions in work clothes and other upmarket sort of fashions, I suppose, dress-up clothing. Of course, a pub. We have a police station, urban fire brigade, a bowls club, and a golf club, and a hardware store. So I think that's just about it. Other than we have a fabricator and earth-moving company, that does other things around the place, and lots of cows. We've got a feedlot up the road that's got 26,000 or 27,000 head of cows. So that's a fairly broad employer, plus a sawmill maybe 15 kilometres out of town towards Boondoomba Dam. And Boondoomba Dam, of course, brings in a lot of tourists, so they're very good. But it's a very active community, always looking for ways to make it more attractive. And that, so there's been lots of things happening there, so that's been very good. Yes, plumbing, yes. I've actually got to catch up, find a plumber. If you're ever coming up this way, Don, I've had my house done by a plumber, but I think he's done some things a little bit possible questionable, and I've got to get an advice from someone so I can maybe get a plumber to finish things off and conclude the building of the house. So we're fairly close, but but that's about it. I reckon I could organise a week's work for you. There's always people asking for plumbers and electricians and motor mechanics, and that we do like a couple of those other sort of trades, which would be nice. Our mechanic sort of closed up 5 or 6 years ago. He retired, and we did have an electrician, but he moved out of the area, and I don't think we've ever had a plumber. From what I know, we had one about 40 or 50 kilometres out of town that used to come here, and he used to come and camp at his customers' houses, so as he did his work, and everybody was happy about that. Anyway, that's Proston, but it's a good little place, nice and quiet, except for the occasional noisy B-double truck that we have that goes down to that largish feedlot. VK4FAX in the group. This is VK4IJP.
VK4IJP, the group VK4FAX. Yeah, that sounds like my kind of town, Ian. It's got the golf club, it's got the bowls club, it's got the pub, and all the things you need. The hardware store, sparkies and plumbers and that sort of thing, and mechanics there. Well, that's a bit of a problem, but anyway, you obviously survive. Mobile mechanics are around if you really get desperate, or you take your vehicle elsewhere, I suppose. I just wondered how big it was, and I'm going to endeavour to come out through that area and have a bit of a look around sometime, and it's always just that little corner of southeast Queensland that I've sort of not been into, and yeah, just always had me fascinated through there. Just what was I going to say? I'll just break for a tick. VK4FAX returning. Yeah, yeah, I sort of haven't got too much more to say. We had a bit of drizzly rain here yesterday morning, and it's all cleared out now. It's been much cooler today. I think we got up to around 26 or so. And in actual fact, when you're outside of an evening now, in the breeze, you sort of just need that flannelette shirt on. But when you come inside, you've got to peel it off because it's quite warm inside. It's just, we've been so used to that 30 plus degrees, and it's come down to the low 20s. It's like it's got really cool. But it's at least a little bit more pleasant to sleep at night as well. But anyway, we'll put it back to Gary and see if there's anyone else around. VK4BAD, VK4FAX.
VK4 FAX, VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo. And for anyone who's on YouTube or watching via the Facebook, good evening to all. Okay, is there anyone else want to join before we shut down the tonight's net? This is VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta listening. Okay, by the sounds of that, the only one which answered back was our sponsor. And of course we don't get much sense out of that except VK4BAD. Correction, VK4RET. Okay, with that one there. To answer your question there, Ian, the last previous flight up was the Russian Soyuz, the Russian rocket, which was the last one up. It holds 3 astronauts. The Americans hold 4, and the Russians hold 3. At the moment, there's 11 up there, and so I think, don't get me right on this one, but I'm pretty sure 4 disappear, 4 go. I'm not too sure if the Soyuz is going or the American Dragon is going. If the Dragon's going, there'll be 4 leaving. If the Russian Soyuz is going, 3 of them are leaving. There. So I'm pretty sure that there might be 4 of them leaving. Because of 4 came up this time. And so, but as I said, I'm not too sure if there was, I'm pretty sure, there's that many rockets which have been launched lately. I forgot which ones, because the last, I'm pretty sure the last Russian one was a supply ship. That's why I said I'm not too sure if it's the Russian ship going to be undocking. But for what I'm understanding, I'm pretty sure that it's the American Dragon going to be undocking, and that means 4 will return. out of the 11 who are up there at the moment. Stand by. Okay, VK4BAD listening. For anyone else who wants to come in and say hello, goodbye before we close the net off. VK4BAD. Okay, nothing else heard. And I've just noticed on my monitor that both of my microphones are in bottom view shot. I usually have them hidden away. Okay, this is VK4 Bravo Alpha Delta for the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club. I'd like to thank VK4IJP Ian in Proston and VK4FAX Don in Drayton. It's a short one. This short one again this week. We're just on a bit over 30 minutes, so that's okay. No worries on that one. Okay, this is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta. Once again, I'd like to thank you all for listening to the Bunya Mountains and District Amateur Radio Club's Wednesday night net. And hope you all join us again next week. This is Victor Kilo 4 Bravo Alpha Delta. I'll now return back to my home call of VK4 Golf Romeo Bravo Gary in Faryiryland. And I'll now leave the frequency back open for general traffic. Until the same time next week, 1930 hours, 7:30 p.m. and 0930 UTC. This is Victor Kilo 4 Golf Romeo Bravo saying 7-3, and we'll catch you again on the next one. VK4 GRB out.